Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Amanda and today we are here with a very exciting video. I decided to purchase some oil pastels. These are Paul Rubens. I've seen a couple of people use these online and I've heard about the brand, basically mostly watercolors, but I really wanted to try oil pastels, but I didn't want to go too expensive, so these were £25 on Amazon and I decided to buy them. Now there is some Chinese or Japanese writing, I don't know exactly what it is, but it is something. I don't know if that is normal, if that's what the brand is, but it comes in this really lovely box. If I just shut that again. And if we turn it over, we can see a couple of things on here. 48 colours of Paul Rubens Colour Pastel Advantages. Colour is exquisite and vivid, just as oil paint. It can be overlaid or mixed with multicolours. Soft strokes, eco-friendly material with fresh smell, colour bright and even, strong textural powder and not easy to fade. Thick cylindrical pen holder is strong, durable with a good hand feel. So yeah, the packaging is a little bit off because of the translations, but it seems to claim a lot of things. So let's see if these claims are true and just maybe, you know, test it out, see what's going on. So this is the little leaflet that they give you and they just tell you a couple of things that you can do. It shows you how to, you know, use them. Which is fun. Palette knife. Take a small oil painting stick with a scraper. Press the oil painting stick on a scraper onto another colour block and then apply it evenly. Alright. Yeah, so you can blend it with your fingers. Can be used in any sketch, colour pencil, acrylic, watercolour and gouache, oil painting, overlay, oil pastel effect. Okay, so it claims that it can overlay quite a few things. And then you have the list of colours here. Obviously we have the 48, there's a 36 and a 60. Oh, pastel. These are quite light tones. I like this. I wish I knew about this one. Yeah, anyway, so that's the leaflet. Let's get into the actual pastels, shall we? So, ta-da! There we go. So I picked up one of these when I was filming my vlog and instantly I could feel that they are quite globby. I don't know. Let's zoom in so you can see what I'm talking about. So this is what it looks like up close and personal. It has the name written on there. There's a couple of Chinese writing and it also tells you the colour. This one is permanent medium yellow. So yes, I think the first thing that we should do is probably swatch them out, see how they look. So I'm gonna get some just regular media paper and see how these fare. This is the paper that I'll be using today just because I think that it will do well. It's a mixed media paper anyway, so we will see. And it does say that it's suitable for oil pastel on here, and I got this from the Artful pencil box. This is what I drew then. So I'm gonna tear out a sheet of this and see how it goes. Okay, so I have torn out the little individual slots for these because that was so annoying, and I redid this sheet because as soon as I started writing down the things, you know, the names of the colours, it just died. My hand smudged all of it and it just was not good. A couple of these were quite interesting actually. Most of the colours are creamy and nice. Some of them, however, are a little bit sticky, like the phthalo blue here and the permanent purple in particular were both quite sticky, and the silver and the gold were also quite sticky. So the pigment didn't really come off onto the paper, it just kind of gunked up. And then a couple of them were quite scratchy as well, mostly the olive green, the titanium, the grey titanium dioxide, and a couple of the yellows as well were quite streaky, and it seemed to be lifting up the pigment rather than putting it down on the paper. A couple of them, however, were completely amazingly creamy and I loved them, like this grey blue, the azurite, these two very similar greens, this mixed blue there was quite a lot of colours that I really enjoyed. These are quite sticky and hard to work with. I think that you can get a glaze sort of thing to put over them to stop them from doing that once you're finished your piece, but I'm so excited to try these out. Now, one thing I want to do though is to actually try mixing some colours together. I'm going to take a couple of colours here and we're going to see if we can mix them. So I've got a colour family of yellow, orange and red, and I'm just going to lay them down and see how this goes. Now this in particular, this paper might not be the best for oil pastels. I don't know, it's quite smooth, so I don't know how many layers we can get away with. And also, actually, well, this is already proven to be difficult, but I know that there's another technique that you can use. So there I just went with my gut instinct and started scribbling, but however, I have watched a couple of videos on how to use these, and apparently you're supposed to put them down in random squiggles like this. Light random squiggles if you want to fill an area. And then get your second colour and fill in those squiggles and just keep going on top, filling them. I think a lot of this depends on the creaminess of them. This one that I'm using right now is quite creamy, so it's going on really nicely, whereas the other two were kind of not. But as you can see, you can begin to really blend the colours and make nice marks, and it blends together quite nicely actually. I'm quite impressed, but this is not a tutorial since this is my first ever go with these, so I don't know exactly how to use them, but this is a technique that I watched, and I think that before we dive deep into the one that I want to do, I want to watch a couple more videos because I think that this is going to be hard. Now I think that 4 layers is your maximum with this paper, it looks like. That was kind of resisting a little bit. So let me go ahead and see if I can mix some other colours here. Now I have a really bad habit or a really bad want to kind of like wipe it away, but you're not supposed to do that, so I'm not going to do that. But let's try adding in some blue together with maybe a green and another green. Let's try these. So we're gonna start with this color. I don't know if you can like make the marks that you want to make. I think it might be quite hard to actually make the marks that you want to make, but we're gonna trying to fill in all the white gaps. And obviously the harder you press down, the more pigment comes off, but the more sticky and hard it is to layer, I think. But yeah, they kind of layered very well actually as you put them on. Now I don't know if you can, yes you can. So you can make other marks on top and literally just keep pushing it around. So that's interesting to know. Another technique that I was told about while I was watching these videos that was quite interesting was to, hold on, if you get a bit of paper and you want to make some marks now, so do this and then you lay it on top of the piece of paper that you want to draw on. Make sure it's exactly where you want it to go, and then you get a pen or a pencil and you draw on top like this, and then it makes the mark underneath, so it's like a transfer, which is actually pretty cool. I like that idea. And you can make whatever marks that you want and it should transfer, probably pushing a little bit harder. And then if you want to put like highlights or whatever on there, you can again do the same thing and then make sure it's on the same place, make the same marks on top and you get highlights. I'm guessing this is going to be pretty hard to get detail. I don't know if anybody has ever tried to get detail by maybe shaving down or sculpting their oil pastels into particular shapes or if they just embrace the thickness of it. So what I'm going to do is I am going to move all this junk out the way, and we're going to actually do a piece, but I want to use a more toothy paper. This is the paper that I'm going to use. It's just the same kind of paper as the Artful mixed media paper, except it's for watercolour, so I'm going to try that. I do want to tape off my corners though. Not really aesthetically pleasing, but whatever. We're past that stage. Okay, so I'm gonna just do this, and I hope that you enjoy watching me do this and listening to me ramble on about my first impressions of oil pastels. Alright, we are on to the speed drawing portion of this video, or painting, I don't know what to call it, but here we are. And oh my goodness, I had so much fun doing this. I don't know. I don't think I want it to be my main medium, but I do definitely think that it's good to use to get colour down and ideas down really quickly for bigger paintings, or if you're on the go and you want to take these with you, then I think that would be a really good idea, just to get something on paper without having to mess around with paint, but still getting that rich, vibrant colour. They are so easy to use, they're not messy like what soft pastels are, and they're not as delicate either. I will say though that the blue one, the dark blue one, is very disappointing. It just does not want to bring colour out. I don't know. So I went ahead and ordered another couple of blues and a white from the Enquires brand, and to be honest, when the Paul Rubens ones work and actually lay down colour, there is hardly any difference, if none at all, between the Paul Rubens and the Enquires, in my opinion. Obviously there might be other factors that make the Enquires better quality or whatever, but the Enquires ones aren't even that expensive anyway. But I think that if you were going to buy the Paul Rubens ones, they would do you just as well. Unfortunately, it is annoying that a couple of them weren't up to the standard that I would have liked. The blue one was just, I don't think it was mixed properly, and it melted really easily and just broke. So I think that's a big no-no for me. I don't like the fact that it did that, and I think that the quality control could be increased. But for the price, I think that they are absolutely amazing. And the colours that you got were pretty good too. My main concern is the whole fine detail aspect of it. I don't know how you're supposed to get fine detail with these. It's just impossible unless you use the added steps of transferring and stuff like that. But when I use a medium, I want to be able to get fine details, large details, good coverage, delicate, I just want it all in one package. But for just sketching really quickly and adding colour and just not having to set up your paints, I think these are really good. Like I said, I did enjoy myself. If anything, the composition was the problem, because I taped this off in sort of almost a square, and the composition of the actual picture that I was looking at was a little bit longer, so the waterfall fell short, shall we say. The waterfall should have been a little bit higher up on the page, away from the bottom of the landscape, so that you could make it look like a waterfall instead of a weird river. But other than that, I think that it came out really cool and I like it. It's obviously not my usual standard of work, but I really enjoyed using these pastels, and I think that they're really good. The one thing I will say though is, because they're so oily, they do tend to stay sticky. I don't know if they're gonna dry or not, but that's something that I need to experiment with, and maybe put a fixative on afterwards or something to stop it from transferring, because I would love to use these in my sketchbook. I think they would be a really fun medium to use out and about in my sketchbook. However, the box is a little bit big, so I don't know if I could transfer them to something else to have on. But anyway, I'm going to give you my final thoughts on these in a minute, so stay tuned for that. Look at that peely action. Ooh. Alright, so, that's not good. this is the finished piece and I'm actually really happy with it. I obviously already talked about the thing itself, so I'm going to talk about I've already talked about the pastels itself. I want to talk about the actual finished product. So obviously this isn't the best piece of art that I've ever done in my life, but I am happy with some of the results that I got and how quick and easy and like enjoyable it was. It was just good. And also after I finished doing this, I added in some extra details after watching a couple of other videos. So I added in more of a thing here. This is supposed to be a waterfall, but it kind of just looks like a crazy river, and I probably shouldn't have done this. It should be like higher up, but whatever. Another thing is, the reason that I cannot sell most of my originals is because of the mess that I make. Like, I have oily handprints all over this now, and I smeared some of this by trying to rub out oil pastel. Basically, I just picked up a bunch of oil pastel on the eraser and scrubbed it over here, so that sucks. But I'm really happy with this, and I really enjoyed the process, which you'll have already heard about. And I also got a X-Acto knife and scraped in some tiny little details in here, just in the grass, just to make some extra details and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm happy with this, and I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.